I clean it off with that. And I actually have a pick here. It's a brass wire.
Okay.
And it goes in this small hole here.
Okay.
So that's what I put the gunpowder down in there, and I put some right here to make it fire.
I got you.
Yeah, and it flashes through that hole there. So I actually have to clean it out because I had a flash in the pan today, which means it smokes here, but nothing comes out. Nothing. So
you said flash in the pan.
It's called flash in the pan.
Is that where the expression? Oh.
Yeah. So there's another expression like lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah.
You've heard of that? That comes from the musket too.
Oh.
So the stock is this wooden part here. It holds everything together. The barrel is what you put your powder in and your ammunition, and then the lock makes it fire. So it's a flint lock, and they call it a fire lock. The flint is what people make arrowheads out of.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's very sharp. Knives,
Yeah.
things like that. It's a very sharp rock. Okay.
You see the flint?
You guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the flint. And actually, I need to tighten it down here. So I actually have a screwdriver in here. It's called a musket tool.
Oh.
Right? And the blacksmith makes these. I'm a blacksmith too. So I make these musket tools. And you can tighten your flint down with that. So when it strikes it, sometimes it knocks it loose. So I put my safety back on this piece of leather. So that keeps me safe. Because when that strikes the frizzen, you know, it creates sparks. It shaves off some of the steel and it creates friction. So you will start loading it now. Where do I keep my powder? Any guesses?
You know where he keeps his powder? Like a powder horn?
Yeah,
or?
in the bag.
Yeah.
So long hunters would carry powder horns because they have to measure it out. The soldier has to be fast. So I just pull this out. These are cartridges.
Pre-made.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So the paper cartridges they would use have powder, and a musket ball at the bottom there. So you take it, tear that off, you chew it up, and you eat it. Yeah, that's good. No, that's good. Just kidding. But you do pour some powder in here, just like that.
You see where I poured the powder?
Got some powder in my mouth.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
It's sulfur and phosphorus. Won't hurt me, but tastes bad.
Yeah.
So I lock it down now. I take the rest of the powder, put it down the barrel, and then put the ball down in there. It's in that paper cartridge so it doesn't roll out. This is a 75 caliber barrel. The ball is 69 caliber. So it would actually roll out if I tipped it over. So I take out my rammer or my ram rod. I ram it all down in there. Okay, take it back out. Put it back in. So all this takes about 20 seconds for a soldier to do.
That's a long reload time.
Yeah, that's a long reload time, but it's like a machine gun in 1750, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's 3 shots a minute.
Wow.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and fire it for you. Is everybody ready?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, ready? Okay. Going fire!
Whoa!
Alright, so that was the shot there. This wasn't very accurate. It was a smooth bore, right? So it's not rifled on the inside. So it doesn't spin the ball around. It just fires it out, and it goes like this until it leaves the barrel. So they have to probably stand where that wood is over there. Come off. Okay, so they would fire maybe 3 or 4 times, and then do a bayonet charge. They would walk towards you lined up, and then shoulder it, and then pierce, and then go towards you in a phalanx.
Oh, just where you
Yeah.
keep marching.
So you keep marching, and you keep thrusting. So you have to run the other way, right? So this is what killed everybody. Because it's not even sharp. It doesn't need to be. It'll just go right through you. This is 12 pounds. Right, so it's very heavy. It's also, what shape is that?
What shape is that bunch?
Is it triangle?
Yeah, it's a triangle. So that triangular shape makes a wound in your body like this. Right? It's a gap. It's hard to suture. Right? You can't stitch it up. So you'll bleed to death. Yeah. So even if you survive, you'll probably bleed out. The swords are a little less effective, right? It's just a hunk of iron, right? They were very pretty, but I wasn't taught how to use a sword as an infantryman, right? So I'm not a pirate. So cavalry could use these swords, but the infantry would rarely pull these out. They would rather use the bayonet because it's longer and they can thrust it, or use this as a club.
Oh, yeah.
Right, that's plated with brass, so it would really hurt if I hit somebody with that. So, are there any questions about the musket? Yeah, tap it. Just flick it with your finger. Yeah, there you go. So it's tin. It's tin actually. So they tried to make everything as light as they could because my uniform and my blanket and my food weighs about 70 pounds in total. So it's very heavy, right? So they tried to make that as light as possible. Now, for their food, they would actually have what's called sevens, the sevens, for 7 days a week. So 7 days as in a week, and they would, pass that out. For every day, you get 1 pound of bread, 1 pound of meat, and then something else like rice or peas, and then rum, right? Of course.
Most important.
Yeah, most important ration. That's right. So the bread would usually be flour or corn, and they would have to ship it over from Charleston. So they'd have to walk across the mountains for 4 to 5 weeks to get here. So usually they wouldn't even get their flour ration here. That's when the Cherokee would give them corn, and they gave them land to grow that on. So they would have that, and they would make it into bread. The women here would stay here. Their job was to keep the bread oven going all day. So that's the bread oven out there.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it was going 24 hours a day, all day. So for the meat, they would have beef and pig, right? So pork. And so they would graze them outside, and they would slaughter them, and then they would salt them, right? To preserve them, right? So they'd rub it down with salt, and then you take a little bit off and go, bleh. So you have to boil off the salt and then desalt it, right? Yeah. So that's how they get their meat ration.
Okay.
And so their rum ration.
No.
Okay. So to start a fire, they would take some of this flint.
Okay. Yeah.
In the rock form, like that. They'd strike it.
Oh.
So they would strike a piece of char cloth. And this is made from this material, and it's smoked in this char tin over a fire. So to make that, you just get some sparks on it.
早い。
Yeah, a lot faster than rubbing sticks together. Right? So that's what they would do, and then you can save it. You just take a little bit of it to make the fire. And they would have like twine, bits of twine. They could make into a bird's nest, and they could put that in there.
はい。OK。
So that green there is actually the company that the regiment belonged to. That's how they would tell the difference between companies.
Wow,
Is the
too
green.
heavy.
Yeah, it's really heavy.
動画で今撮ってる。
Yeah, no problem.